The dramatic decline of New Zealand's longest glacier is being tracked in an online audio-visual exhibition this month. Haupapa, the chilled breath of Rakamaumau, is a collaboration of art, Western science and mātauranga Māori, and involves input from moving image and sound artists and orator, a mountaineer glaciologist and a creative technologist. AUT Associate Professor of Art and Design and artist Janine Randerson and orator Ron Bull no Kaitahu Kati Mamoe Waitaha are with us now. Tēnā kōrua, thank you for joining us. Ron, if I could just start with you, the Haupapa Tasman Glacier, which begins at Aoraki Mount Cook National Park, has melted at an average rate of 180 metres each year. Incredibly significant since the 90s. How is the glacier transforming now?
Well, it is a magnificent rate of change for the glacier, for Haupapa, and that's evidenced now by the lake, that glacial lake that's left in its place from where that glacier has been retreating. A lake that never existed in the times when we had our creation stories, our times of creation stories of Aoraki, of Haupapa, of Rakamaumau. So it's essentially a lake that's been created by people because of the way that we are living within the environment and the way that we are interacting with that place and changing, breathing in that place, causing that glacial melt, causing that centuries-old ice to leave its bed and leave in behind that water.
Janine, give us an idea of what the exhibition entails.
Well, the exhibition is unusual because it's an online exhibition and it's hosted on Te Tuhi's website. And so if you go there, you're invited to a funnel to enter the artwork. And when you enter, you will find abstracted images of the ice viewed from underwater, which I actually filmed with an underwater camera. And you will hear the recordings of sound artist Rachel Shearer, who recorded a hydrophone deep into the lake, which can hear the cracking and the fragmentation as pieces of ice actually carve off the glacier. So on the website, you'll see the documentary that you're seeing some images of now. But if you actually enter the artwork, you'll enter this space where the image is also changing with live data from NIWA of the winds and the sunlight and the amount of moisture on a particular day. So if you enter the exhibition, it's a bit like a kind of creative weather report where you get to experience through your senses what is happening actually on the site. And so we worked with a coder who wrote about 3,000 lines of code interfacing with NIWA weather instruments to create these live changes of pattern. And then, of course, you'll hear Ron's voice, which responds to the wind directions.
Well, Ron, as the narrator for the work, what is it about Haupapa, your ancestor, and its significance to Ngāi Tahu?
Well, the significance for us comes from Aoraki. Ko Aoraki, te mauka matatu. You know, it's that one mountain, that creation story that we all go back to. And we quite often talk about the water that comes from Aoraki, the waitaki, those tears that come from Aoraki from missing his siblings, missing his family. But that ice that was captured in Haupapa also captures the breath of Rakamaumau. And for us, the Rakamaumau is that energy that provides all the weather for this place that we live in. So when we think about the breath of Rakamaumau, the winds that blow from all different directions and how it's captured in that ice, that breath is a breath, it's a ha that's been there before people. It's the ha of the atua. And when we go in and breathe that, we're not breathing the same air as when we hongi each other, we're breathing the same air as when we hongi the atua. So for us, it's highly significant to contemplate that air, that heart, that chilled breath of Rakamaumau and all that came from that story.
Amazing. Janine, the decline of this glacier is a clear visual marker of climate change. What's it been like to track its withdrawal?
Well, I've worked closely and brought together this team, which includes glaciologist Heather Purdy at the University of Canterbury. And there've been amazing conversations between Heather and Ron and Rachel and I and Stefan as artists and creative technologists about how we can represent and approach this massive loss, this shift of ice to water. And we didn't want to go into melancholic mode. We wanted to really try and communicate the value and honour this particular moment of change, where this breath, which in Western terms is the pollens, the ash from Australian bushfires, the sea air that is all encased in the ice, is now being released, and it's also the breath of the atua. So we wanted to turn this into a kind of gifting and listening and respectful interaction with the glacier rather than a tangi. So yeah, it's a moment for us to really value that transition and change.
100%. Ron, I believe that to even begin this exhibition, Haupapa was approached as a collaborator. What did the process look like?
Yeah, it was an amazing process. It was a fascinating process. And my initial conversations with Janine and Rachel, trying to find out the narrative of what that place is, of what Aoraki, of what Haupapa is, not just from a Tasman Glacier perspective, but also understanding the names, the echoa of our atua, of those naturally occurring elements that for us as iwi Māori are important, but just as important to all the other collaborators that have been through that space, whether they be Māori or non-Māori. Understanding that that place there existed before we got here, and as kaitiaki for us, I don't think we're kaitiaki for it. It's a kaitiaki for us. We have to be responsible for making sure that it and the environment can look after us into the future. So that idea of collaboration is between the people that breathe together, but also a collaboration with the landscape in its many different forms and identities.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Janine, just before we go, very quickly, how do we experience Haupapa, the chilled breath of Raka Maumau?
So if you go to Tuhi's website and you look for the World Weather Network link, and then you can follow through there to the Haupapa page. It's actually part of a network of 28 different arts organisations around the world, of artists responding to places where climate change is very visibly apparent. So I invite people to also to look at Tuhi's site, but also the World Weather Network as a whole.
Yeah, amazing. It looks amazing. Janine Randerson and Ron Bull, collaborators on Haupapa, the chilled breath of Raka Maumau. Thank you so much for your time today. Ngā mihi kia kōrua.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Mauri ora.